I don't know how Faith is going to react, especially if she wants to come to America and I can't afford to support her here. But I'm hoping that she loves me enough to see past that.
So a great start to any relationship is false dreams, lies, fake promises, and one very broke, very homeless, very weird man. Well, it seems that Loren and Faith have got it all. And from the way that Loren's been keeping almost everything important a secret from her, this, I predict, is gonna end in disaster.
Faith is the woman of my dreams. However, I don't necessarily want us to be an exclusive couple even after I go to the Philippines, because I don't really believe in monogamy.
Yeah, and things only go downhill from here, trust me. But before we get into that, let's rewind to the start. So before the 90 days is back, and the casting team really didn't hold back this season. Like, it may only be the first episode in a brand new season, but already there's more red flags than my brain can handle. Now, someone who's already caught my eye is Loren, a 33-year-old who works as an assistant to the drag queens at a club in Las Vegas.
At the end of the day, the thing that makes me feel best about myself is when I make someone else happy. I can walk it to her. And maybe that's because for most of my life, I felt like no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't please anyone.
Loren explains that growing up wasn't easy for him. No one understood me, he says. And considering the man we see before us today, a man who likes to paint his nails, works with drag queens, and has a pretty open and unique taste in partners, it's easy to see why he didn't fit in. Everyone thought I was gay, he says.
But I don't consider myself gay at all. I identify as gynosexual. It means that I find femininity attractive, not necessarily gender.
Now, that might be the first time you've heard that term, gynosexual, but it is, after doing a lot of Googling, it is apparently a real term. The problem is, when I hear it, I can't help but think of the word gynecologist, and that couldn't apparently be further from what Loren's looking for. So, as he and his friend Esther head to a sex shop to buy some gifts, he reveals what his sexual preferences really are.
But my preference is to date a trans woman, with or without a penis, preferably penis, because a penis is much more fun to play with.
Esther reveals they used to be together, but it didn't work out. Why? Because Esther's missing essential genitalia down south. Yeah, sorry Esther, but I get the impression you may have swerved a bullet with this one. Now, the thing is, as a 33-year-old man, Loren says he now knows exactly what he needs in order to be happy, and he's begun envisaging a life for himself that involves marriage and a happily ever after.
My end goal is marriage. I would love to have a trans wife and to live my life happily, but it's been really hard for me to find my significant other.
Now, remember that Loren says his end goal is marriage here, because that will come up again later. Now, here's the thing about Loren, right? If you thought that everything you've seen up until this point was weird, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Hang tight, because it's about to get a whole lot worse. But what about his girlfriend, Faith? Who is she? How did they meet? Well, he reveals that they met on a Filipino dating app.
In the Philippines, Faith is known as a ladyboy. This is a rough translation from Thai, and it's used primarily to describe a transgendered woman. I make her laugh, I can crack jokes with her all day long.
Okay, I mean, immediately, we've got some red flags here. Like, hit pause on the fact that he's looking to move specifically to the Philippines because of the cost of living. That's definitely a red flag, but we're going to come back to that shortly. But another red flag is how happy and proud he seems at the fact the pair of them declared their love for each other within 24 hours of first connecting on the dating app.
Within the first day of chatting, we reached the point of I love you. Boom. Day one. We're good to go.
But, again, and this is going to be the theme of this video, we're only just getting started. Because, of course, there's more. You see, Loren has been keeping a massive secret from the love of his life. And it may just be a secret that could ruin everything for him. Loren happens to be completely penniless. He's flat out broke.
So since I can't really afford to survive in America, my ideal scenario would be I go to the Philippines, find a way to live with Faith, and then stay there forever.
So as his friend Esther pays for the lingerie that he's going to be gifting Faith, Loren admits that he struggles to even make rent. Which begs the question, how's he going to afford to live out in the Philippines? Is he just expecting Faith to pay for everything? Keep in mind, as I'm sure you recall with Mary and Brandon, foreigners aren't allowed to work in the Philippines until they get married. So even if he wants to, he's got no way of earning an income out there, and his savings are zero. It feels like he's being very presumptive. He just presumes that Faith will be able to pay for everything for him. And the craziest part is, the part that really blows my mind, is that Loren hasn't actually mentioned any of this to Faith.
I don't know how Faith is going to react, especially if she wants to come to America and I can't afford to support her here. But I'm hoping that she loves me enough to see past that.
Now, I might be wrong, but I'm going to make an assumption here based purely off what we've seen in the past from American and Filipino couples. And I'm going to go on a limb and say, given that these two have never talked about finances before, there's a pretty high likelihood that Faith assumes that Loren's doing better financially in the States than she's doing in the Philippines. Yeah, I mean, Loren being broke, best case scenario, is going to be a massive surprise to her, and worst case scenario, it might just be a deal breaker. But, believe it or not, as we catch up with Loren just a week before he's meant to depart, it actually gets even worse.
Due to my financial situation, I don't have a really stable home. Where I wake up ranges from my best friend's house, one of my ex's house, maybe a new friend's house.
So he's homeless, is what he's saying. He's broke and he's homeless, and he's running away to the Philippines to take advantage of the low cost of living and his naive girlfriend. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I mean, it's terrible. It's so gross that Loren hasn't discussed these issues with Faith beforehand. But as he packs his suitcase, he proceeds to show us just how gross he really is.
I'm practicing my cooking of Filipino food.
So wait, why are you cooking in the bathroom?
So that the room gets nice and hot and steamy.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain this one. Loren, who's a guest in someone's house, is cooking shrimp in the bathroom over a hot plate so that he can replicate the humid climate and train himself for what's to come in the Philippines. And after a workout in the shrimpy smelling bathroom, Loren proceeds to tell us he's actually apparently put a lot of thought into this move. But perhaps he should focus more on how he can work and less on whatever this is.
I think it's done. Ready for the Philippines? Ready for Faith? Shell takes a lot longer to chew.
So if Faith doesn't dump Loren after she finds out he's broken homeless, then surely she will when she sees him eating shrimp, shell and all, on a toilet seat in a house that isn't his. I mean, it's quite the spectacle, isn't it? Now, when we join Loren later that day as he's headed to his friend's house to help him out as he's making drag queen outfits, he FaceTimes Faith for a chat, and after some small talk, Loren dives head first into a touchy subject.
Are we still sleeping in separate rooms when I get there at the hotel? Or are you gonna sneak into my room?
I don't think so because, we're getting to know each other for the first time.
Surprise, surprise, Loren has radically jumped the gun with this relationship. While he's ready to leave his life behind, move to another country, move in with Faith and potentially marry her, Faith, on the other hand, isn't even ready to sleep in the same bed as him. She tells Loren that she wants to take it slowly, but I don't even think he understands what that means, and his reply really proves it.
I went all the way to the Philippines to be alone. Is that what you're saying? I'm a super sexual person, and I've sent Faith a few sexy-ish photos here and there. But other than that, we really haven't talked about sex.
Loren's giving off some serious horn dog energy, and it's kind of gross. I mean, he might have laughed it off as a joke, but the weird guilt-tripping answer that he gave Faith about not wanting to sleep together immediately really has my creep radar going off the charts. But get ready for even more awkward viewing, because as Loren introduces Faith to his three friends sat in the room, one of them says a little too much.
To tell you something, when he first was looking on the Filipino dating app, he had so many different girls, but he chose you.
Oh my God.
Wow, he chose you, Faith, you lucky girl you. You managed to bag a real winner here. But Faith really doesn't look happy with what she's hearing. And after everyone says bye to each other, Loren reveals that Faith can be quite a jealous person when it comes to other girls. You see, when one of his friends asks Loren whether Faith thinks that they're dating exclusively, Loren reveals that they're not.
Faith is a woman of my dreams. However, I don't necessarily want us to be an exclusive couple even after I go to the Philippines, because I don't really believe in monogamy.
Loren admits he's avoided the conversation. He knows that Faith isn't seeing anyone else, but he is. Yeah. Remember how earlier he said that his end goal was marriage? Well, is this really how someone who's serious about getting married to his partner acts? It's not looking good, is it? I mean, Loren wants to go to the Philippines. He wants to go to a conservative Asian country. He plans to live off someone he's never even met in person before. Have Faith pay for his entire lifestyle until he can land himself a job, and then he also wants her to be okay with him sleeping with other people. Is this guy from the same planet as us? He seems to be absolutely mental.
If her way is monogamy, are you going to be okay with that?
I mean, I'm gonna have to accept it or try and push her into not. Hopefully it's okay.
Push her? Did he really just use those words? If my creep radar was off the charts before, it's just officially exploded. Loren might just be one of the creepiest people we've ever seen on this show, and that is really saying something. Now, as we jump to the day of Loren's departure, he and his friend Esther are packing together.
So I got one more thing, right? A ring.
I'm a little shocked that you would buy a ring before meeting.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
Are you really shocked? Everything we've seen about Loren so far screams unhinged. Frankly, a ring isn't really a surprise at this point. The thing is, his reasons for getting married feel very disingenuous. Sorry, but this isn't love. This is Loren trying to run away from his financial problems. He's hoping that living in a cheaper country will work out better for him. And just to top it all off, check out the ring that he bought.
Fancy. How much did you pay for these?
Like $50. Right, I went over my finances and that's pretty much all I can afford. So hopefully it'll be good enough for her.
The ring of every woman's dreams, right? Is that how much you value her, Loren? The woman you expect to take care of you and financially support you? He just really doesn't seem to have much awareness, much consideration for how Faith might feel, does he? Ironically, it's Loren's friend who's worried that Loren might be about to get hurt. But sorry, I don't think it's Loren we should be worried about. After all, it's Loren who's the one that plans to push Faith into doing things that she doesn't want to. And as Loren heads out for his flight, he keeps repeating how much he loves Faith. But from the way that he's acting, he really doesn't seem to have much respect for her.
Faith is my goddess, right? She's my everything. And I'm gonna make it work. It has to work. I have a lot to talk to Faith about my life, about how she thinks she's gonna move here, which is probably not gonna happen.
Sorry, Loren, hate to break it to you, but this absolutely isn't how you treat a goddess. Loren's gonna have to break the news that he's broke, he's homeless, he's been sleeping with other people. He doesn't want a monogamous relationship even if they were to get married. Not to even mention the fact he just expects her to pay for him. Oh, and there's absolutely no chance that he'll be bringing her to the States. And to top it off, he cooks and eats in a bathroom. Yeah, brace yourselves, folks, because I think 90 Day have gone and done it again. I don't know where they find these people from, but it sure does make for great entertainment.